My wife came to me and said that our Christmas tree is too short, so I'm going to make a stand for this little plastic pencil tree. I picked up some common pine from the big box store for this project, and I need to glue up some panels with it. I'm basically going to build a box, but not just any box, but we'll get to the design in a minute. I don't want this box to be too basic, so I'm going to give it a taper from top to bottom. I also want this box to come together with some nice, clean miter joints, which I thought might have been a bit of a challenge, given that I also want this box tapered, but I've got a plan to make it simple. After setting my saw blade to 45 degrees, I cut that angle on a scrap piece of plywood. I screw down some reference blocks. With my fence locked down from when I cut the sled, I can start running my panels through the saw. I get a taper and a miter cut all in one pass. To reinforce these joints and make the glue up a little easier, I took my biscuit joiner to the mitered corners. This should help line things up and keep those joints from sliding all over the place once there's glue on them. I added the blocks on the sides to make sure I didn't damage this relatively soft wood with the clamps, but I struggled with keeping the clamps from falling down. As I watched this back, I realized it would have been a lot smarter to keep the box upside down. Then when gravity pulled the clamps down, that would have just tightened up on the box instead of falling off. To add a little bit more flair to this box, I switched to a dado stack for a 1/4 inch cut and set the depth to about a 1/4 inch as well. I'm going to cut some horizontal grooves all the way around. Now I just had to make 52 more passes to finish this off. For the inside base, I need to cut a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. And now for the guts of this thing. After cutting out the majority of these holes with a Forstner bit, I came back and chiseled out the rest to make them square. These boards are going to make the support bracket for that metal tubing. I cut them to length, and just like the bottom of the box, I'm cutting the ends to the same angle as the box taper. That way, just like the bottom, they'll wedge into place. That little tube cutoff came in handy to make sure these pieces lined up. And speaking of the tube, I need to cut the actual piece that will go inside this box. The angle grinder and a cutoff wheel made quick work of this. I again checked the fit, and it's looking like this might actually work, but I still have more to do on that support tube. The first thing is to add a through bolt just a few inches down from the top. So this bolt will keep it from sliding to the bottom of the box. Now I need a couple of more holes closer to the top. These will get some nuts welded on that I can thread bolt through. And those bolts will clamp the tree trunk in place and make sure it stands nice and straight. A few ugly tack welds were enough to hold those nuts in place. And a quick spray of black paint to cover up those ugly little welds. Now I could get to finishing this box. For that, I'm using some Minmax dark walnut. Standing in between all those grooves and then wiping out all those grooves was fun, but I think it was worth it in the end. And then I could put it all back together. This thing is super light, so as long as I keep it straight, I should be able to just pick it up and set it down without dumping ornaments all over the place, and success! Thanks for watching. See me in the next one.